I feel the Oxford Leadership Fellows, they're so unique. I tell my friends that there are people that have lights in their eyes. You can tell the passion, the dream, the sense of mission, sense of responsibility for the world. I think that's most attractive for me. There are lots of people who can do detail things, and they might be even better in the techniques or methods or theories. But the OLA fellows, they have the passion to live it and to really contribute, and they have a sense that like a purpose beyond themselves. I think that's most important. And plus, we want to work with high-profile leaders, global leaders, with the feeling that they'll be the one who changed the world. And, and we also believe there are such kind of business leaders who are great in their work, in their career, in their business, but at the same time has the same quality as us. They have great passion for a better world, better business, and better team, and they work for a bigger purpose also. So that's the most special thing about it. And plus, I feel Oxford Leadership, they work from the very essence. That's something special also, because it's like the tree. You can work on the leaves, you can work on the branches, but it's all a little bit superficial, or it doesn't generate that energy and impact. But I feel more like working at the seed level, which is really hard. But once we get it, the impact is profound. It's starting from myself. I've been doing this work with myself for about 20 years. And it's so hard, I've been doing training for a long time, and I know it's very easy to teach the theory. It's very easy to say, what should you do? And we all know in our mind that we should do this. But the effort is the mind and the heart and soul and body come together, and we mean it, or we can really review it. I think that's the hardest thing. It requires lots of deep transformation inside of ourselves, when our spirit, mind, body, heart all come together and in harmony, congruent, so that whatever we think come true. I think that's the hardest part, and that's what we're committed to. I do feel that for myself, even to change a tiny little bit takes huge amount of effort. So in my work, I try to create that energy and attitude. Each one starts with themselves. So that's the most calling for me. The national companies or banks, they kind of have their own culture. And after I did work with them, the leader of that bank in southern province of China, she actually told me, she said, I've never experienced that I'm so close to my staff. I used to feel so alone. She's so good in the business. Whenever, there's crisis in the different branches, the top leader will send her to those places to sort things out. But she told me she used to feel so lonely, and she has to take care of everything and uphold everything. And when we were doing the session, like everybody expressed their feelings towards her, their care, their support. She was even crying. And that was amazing for me. It's like, the staff or the leaders, they're not computers, they're not machines. They're real people. And when we don't connect at the technical task level, but we connect as you as a person instead of the role. Start with self. It's the hardest thing, but it will work out so well, because I feel the leaders of great companies, huge global companies, they're like the seed. Whatever greatness they have, the tree will have. And whatever weakness they have, it will show up in the tree also. So I've had some good leaders. They would have the sense that I might have weaknesses also. I have my greatness so that I reached here, but I think to have that humility, to know that I might be restricted by my own character, way of thinking, way of doing, and just to be open to welcome other ideas. It's a huge, it takes a lot of courage from the leader. But once leaders come from a bigger purpose, not just to prove that I'm the top one and you have to obey me and all that, if these leaders can think in a larger way, not just working for this business, for their revenue, but working to see how I can make the life of the whole company better, make the world better. If they think in that way, then it's easier for these leaders to change. I really believe it. Sometimes I tell the leaders in my class, I say, can you imagine if you have better education and more strengths and more experience in the field? If you're a top leader, you're better than other people in many things, and your character and your connection and everything. If you can't change, almost you can't expect anyone below you to change. So that's like a real challenge. But I can see all those who can do this, they create huge changes. Can I add an example? Yeah, there's one leader, after I do the training, I do the personal coaching for him, the CEO, and then I ask the HR to help, and I kind of teach him, and then the HR would organize the CEO and the HR and another crucial person to have triads, the 3 people group. And after like about 1 year, when they kind of get the summary of this whole year, they told me the best thing for this whole year is like the 3 of us are having regular meetings, sharing deep things, and lots of things are dissolved. And the HR was saying, before I used to feel there's nobody behind the CEO desk because he's kind of running around and doing lots of things and doing sales and all that. He said, now I can feel there's CEO there. And the team is changing, and the connection, the important connections in his core team has changed. And I can really, from my heart, appreciate that, because that's the thing I can't do. I can kind of guide him or coach him, but the real change comes from themselves, from the openness that they want to see themselves, what's going on, and try to change. And that creates huge impact.
Very good. Sixth question. What does transforming business for good actually mean?
I think for one thing is deep, essential transformation. Not like we add a little more process or system. It's more like the energy behind it, the essence behind the person and behind the organization changes. So that's like permanent or deep change. Second is for the better. Sometimes people come to my leadership class and they will tell me later on, after like 2 months or 1 year, they say, oh, even my couple relationships changed and even my parenting style changed. I really like that. It's like if we help people to kind of find the true core of themselves, which is beautiful and marvelous. If everybody get that, then, it's like for the best of that person. I really, truly, truly believe that each one at the very core, it's so beautiful. It's just, sometimes there's some emotions or habits or whatever get stuck. But I really believe that core. And once we find that core, the whole person changes and vibrate and blossom. For one person, another person, and then gradually ripple out. That's my image. I was studying in Harvard University in Boston. And at that time, I got full scholarship to study for 5 years So I got full scholarship for 5 years for my doctorate in Harvard. And it's about 94. I got to this spiritual study, meditation and understanding the soul and all that. And I suddenly realized my whole life will change, Because before I used to think, biology, genetic engineering will change the world. It's like the trend at that moment. Even, 1999, I went back to China. At that time, before I went back to China, we were doing genetic targeting already. It's like Nobel technology much later. But we were doing that at that time already. And what they're doing is they got this cancer specific stuff, and then they find like an antibody towards it hooked to a medicine. So usually the medicine kills the good cells and bad cells. But at that moment we were doing, killing specific cancer cells. So it's really amazing. So that's from the micro level. Human beings have mastered this world, tiny little world, so well. And my parents was from Beijing University of Aeronautics and Astronautics. So my father used to tell me, how the spaceship is located, specifically at which moment in where. And I was amazed, Human being can kind of manage the most grand universal things and the most tiniest micro things. So at that moment, when I was in Harvard, I decided the last conquering would be for ourselves. We have conquered the whole world from tiniest to grandest. But the last difficult thing is for us. If today I want to be peaceful, I can be. If I want to be happy, I can be. And because we are the creator of this whole thing, science, arts, and all these technology, we're the creator. And the last thing that we have to manage, after all of that great things, is to manage ourselves and get ourselves back. So that's when I feel my whole life, my whole journey changed. You get this. I truly believe in that.